welcome to Herald TV News Bulletin with me, Charlene. Is there a danger that the new land conversion amendment will erode checks and balances for the land conversion? Is there a possibility of misuse of the new land conversion amendment? Who will benefit from the new land conversion, politicians or people? To find out, watch point counterpoint on will the proposed amendment to the Goa land revenue rules, whereby the collector's office will decide on conversion cases if NOCs are not asked within 20 days, lead to unchecked conversions on Herald TV and YouTube.
If there are dangers, the new land conversion amendment will erode checks and balances for land conversion. Is there a possibility of misuse of the new land conversion amendment? Who will benefit from the new land conversion, politicians or people? To find out, watch Point Counterpoint on Goa Land Revenue Amendment on Herald TV and YouTube.
One understands that it is yet another attempt to erode the process of checks and balances which are already in place to ensure that there is no rampant conversion of land for uses other than what it was envisaged.
Suppose tomorrow I apply for conversion of land which is forest. I connive with the range forest officer or whoever is concerned, bribe him and tell him you keep silent for 20 days.
Right.
Now he has done nothing, he will say I have not reported that it is not forest. I get my conversion. So this is an easy way of making money for everybody. And it is also quite likely if I am a stooge of a minister, the minister may phone up and tell the RFO, don't do anything for 20 days, this side I get my conversion. Now this should not be the case. What I suggest is, along with this amendment, there must be a clause, penal clause, which says that if an officer fails to report within 20 days, certain punishment is provided. First offense, second offense, third offense, fourth offense, fifth offense, out of the job. If this is done, this is a very good amendment. But if you just leave it like that, it means the officer is free to avoid responsibility, to make under the table money and get land which is not meant to be converted, and avoid responsibility. So
if we look at the intent, now who will be the beneficiary of this? No doubt public in general, but we have all these politicians largely into this BJP cadre, they are largely into real estate business. Ideally, if I look at it, it is conflict of interest because they themselves are into real estate business, and convergence is the basics of getting a land converted from agricultural to non-agricultural purposes. Now, no one has spoken about what caused for this amendment. What triggered this amendment?
Yeah, that's important. Yes, please.
No one has come out in public as of now.
Right.
What was the need for this amendment?
What is your feeling?
My feeling is, see, these politicians of BJP are there into real estate. They are conniving with this builder real estate lobby. They want to expedite this process of converting the agricultural land to non-agricultural purposes. Now, this poor fellow collector, out of these 4 departments, TCP and forest, they are having their own department heads. Mamledar and land surveys, they are from revenue department, and collector of a district, north or south. For all practical purposes, he is the head of department. If collector is not able to get the report from its subordinates, for what all administrative purposes he is sitting as a collector then?
Bureau Report, Herald TV.
Ify fever is catching on with just 2 days to go before the opening ceremony of the 53rd edition of the International Film Festival of India. Some of the biggest names in Indian cinema will be present for the opening ceremony. Ify has curated a separate section of Goan films. 7 feature films by Goans will be shown for the first time during the festival. This edition of the festival will present to thousands of film enthusiasts and collection of 280 plus films from 79 countries. Apart from the screening of Indian and international movie screening, several in-conversation sessions will be held with celebrities, and the Film Bazaar has been made an integral part of Ify.
Ify fever has caught on as the opening ceremony of the 53rd edition of the International Film Festival of India draws near. This year, Ify has curated a separate section for Goan films. 7 films by Goans will be shown for the first time during the festival. This edition of the festival will present to thousands of film enthusiasts a collection of 280 plus films from 79 countries.
We have curated a separate section,
Okay.
Goan film section. So 7 non-feature films we are going to screen in the festival. This was a separate edition to what the NFDC has curated. Opening ceremony, we can expect names like Mr. Ajay Devgan, Pankaj Tripathi, Manoj Vajpayee, Mr. Prabhudeva. They'll be attending as our special invitees and guests. And in the performance category, in the opening, everybody is very keen. So we'll have Varun Dhawan, Kartik Aaryan, Sara Ali Khan.
At how many places this will be screened? The theatres?
There are in total 8, including one in Makinas Palace itself. So 4 screens in Inox, one here, which we do screen some movies, which is inside the ESG complex. Then 4 screens in Inox Porvorim.
Porvorim, no?
Yes. So, apart from the international and the Indian section, movie screenings and master classes, a number of in conversation sessions. Everybody is very interested in knowing and talking to celebrities in various aspects of filmmaking. So that is a big attention. Over 100 celebrated names will be coming to offer those master classes. Film Bazaar has been made an integral part of IFI from this year onwards. Earlier it used to be conducted independently.
Sagun Gaude for Herald TV.
The Lorna Montserrat Brothers Unplugged musical show will be staged at the Goa Heritage Festival at Kampal on 19 November 2022. This is possibly the first time that Lorna will be returning to the old days when she will perform with wind instruments accompanying her. Performing with her will be Montserrat Brothers, Ronnie, Bosco and Blasco, Rocky Lazarus and Carlos Gonsalves.
The Lorna Montserrat Brothers Unplugged musical show will be staged at the Goa Heritage Festival at Kampal on 19 November 2022. This is possibly the first time that Lorna will be returning to the old days when she will perform with wind instruments accompanying her. Montserrat Brothers, Ronnie, Bosco and Blasco, Rocky Lazarus and Carlos Gonsalves will be accompanying her.
We brought Lorna back in 1995 with the Hello Lorna show. If you remember, it's a long time back. Lorna was not performing for around 23 years. There was a hiatus from music for 23 years, and her whole career had crumbled, and things were, people, and that's partly, I think, one of the reasons, besides a fabulous voice, is the legend behind her, the tragic story of Lorna. And the one who brought her back was Ronnie Montserrat. The faith that he had, he composed the song Aikat Muzo Tavo, and the show at the Miramar beach was jam-packed. I don't think there's ever been a show in Goa which has had so many people in one go. That was thanks to Ronnie Montserrat. It was obvious that we had to have a show of this type, and I'd like to add that despite that having happened in 1995, it never again happened. Lorna and Ronnie have never played. So our whole idea, we at the Gonsalves Mansion at Goa for Giving are always keen on doing some extraordinary shows. So we thought we'll bring this particular show together. And Ronnie and his brothers with Lorna is itself a big game, or big one. And further than that is the fact that they are playing unplugged. So real quality musicians will only be seen when their sound is unplugged. You're going to actually watch something which is never going to happen again, which has never happened before. So this is the whole event, and we call it the Lorna and the Montserrat Brothers Unplugged. And in terms of the type of setup that we have got is the wind instrument setup, because Lorna was used to Chris Perry at that time, and Chris Perry, and for many years thereafter she moved away from wind instruments. So we got her back in 2010 and put the wind instruments back, and her career has taken off to a different level.
One day we had a jam at his place. Lorna was there, myself, and we just went here while Lorna started singing, and Armando was there around, Shine was there also, and we just started jamming. And I think that's the time, that's what I feel, he had this idea of why don't we have an unplugged concert. The roots was at that particular jam, I think, when we jammed at his place with Lorna unplugged. Because otherwise she's been singing with a band, a regular band, but that's fully electronic and with brass. And today we are come to do this concert which is unplugged, So it was rooted then, and today we are come to have Carlos and Rocky by our side with my brothers Bosco and Blasco doing this unplugged show.
Thank you for this honor to be part of Goa Giving and Goa Heritage Action Group. And the legendary gentlemen are pioneers for us. They are pioneers for Kalu and me. They are the Monserrat brothers. We've grown up listening to their music. So it's a very heart-touching day, and it's an emotional moment to be brushing shoulders with them tomorrow.
Like it's a dream come true. Like I met Armando and he said, let's do something, and he said, let's go like and Shane, and they told me like Montserrat brothers are coming, and always had a dream where I used to, when I was young, I used to watch them, hear them in the film. So it's my honor and pleasure to play with Ronnie Roscoe. So this is a dream come true, Rocky, and all this, to keep our going. My only strength is to keep Goa together.
Devendra Kankar for Herald TV.
As the mega football event, the FIFA World Cup 2022 kicks off, football fever has gripped everyone, but in a very special way, the Goan fans in Qatar who are in the heart of the pulsating action. Whom are they rooting for? What is going on in their minds ahead of the gala event? Catch the action from Qatar.
Fans around the world are gearing up for the much anticipated football tournament, the FIFA World Cup, to be held in Qatar from November 20th. Goan fans across the world, especially in Qatar, are waiting to see Portugal play against Ghana. Herald TV caught up with Goans living in Qatar to know their expectations for the matches. The first and opening match of the FIFA World Cup will be played on 20th November, 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time at the Al Bayat Stadium, with the first match that will be played by Qatar and Ecuador. The FIFA World Cup final will be played on 18 December at the Lusail Iconic Stadium.
Well, I'm so excited, and I'm just waiting another few days left, and we are all set up with our gears, and the family all are prepared to go and watch the first Portugal match, and we are waiting to see Ronaldo in action.
And so you will be supporting Portugal at the World Cup.
Definitely, I'll be supporting Portugal as my favorite team, and we hope that they will reach the final and capture the cup.
So most of the matches Portugal will be playing at the 974 Stadium. This stadium is made of containers.
Yes, that's a very strange stadium, and we are all want to see what this container has been doing there. Like I have been told, it's made like an office, it's made like a sitting arrangement. Wow, everything is on the container. This was the first time that we were invited to play in a Portugal tournament, and we did very well in their tournament. We reached the finals, and but due to last minute one goal, we couldn't capture the cup. But we were appreciated by the Portugal tournament organizers, and after that they have selected around 5 players from my team to play for their Portugal team for the next tournament, which is going on at the moment. I want to make a team for India, but due to sponsors and financial, we cannot go ahead. So we have decided that we play for another team, like Portugal team, who is taking my players, and they are getting a chance to play in an international in Qatar.
So wish you and your team and Portugal all the best at the World Cup.
Thank you, and I hope Portugal captures the cup once again, World Cup.
Clinton D'Souza for Herald TV.
Vikat Bhagat has been given interim bail to perform the last rites of his father who died. The bail has been granted on humanitarian grounds. Vikant will be allowed to attend the cremation and perform the last rites. Vikant has been accused in the Irish tourist Daniel McLaughlin murder case.
Vikas Bhagat will be allowed to conduct the last rites of his father, who has died a day or two ago. The bail has been granted for 25th and 26th November 2022. With this, Vikat will be able to travel to his native place under police escort. He will be escorted back to Goa after the last rites are over. Vikat has been accused of murdering Irish tourist Daniel McLaughlin at Kanakana in 2017.
Bureau Report, Herald TV.
The body of a 22-year-old Akhtar Raza Kusanur from Dikarpal was found at San Jose de Arial on Thursday in a partially decomposed state. The deceased was reported missing since November 14th by his family. After an examination of the crime scene, police suspected homicide, and thereafter an offence under Section 302 of IPC was registered. South Goa District Police arrested 22-year-old Sandeep Gupta for allegedly committing the murder. It is suspected that Gupta assaulted the deceased on the head to rob cash in his possession and then smashed his head with a stone to cover up the crime.
The body of 22-year-old Akhtar Raza Kasnoor from Dikarpal was found at San Jose de Ariel on Thursday in a partially decomposed state. The deceased had been reported missing since November 14th by his family. Police suspected homicide and thereafter an offence under Section 302 of IPC was registered. 22-year-old Sandeep Gupta is alleged to have committed the murder. Multiple teams were formed by South Goa District Police to identify suspects through a collection of human intelligence and technical evidence. All acquaintances of the deceased were thoroughly investigated and all CCTV cameras in the vicinity were watched to gather necessary leads into the investigation. The murder weapon with other possession of the deceased have been recovered at the behest of the accused. Aditya Bidre for Herald TV.
Churchill Brothers FC Goa defeated Compassion FC by 3-0 goals to register win in the Vedanta GFA Women's League Football Tournament. The match is played at Rosary Church Ground, Navalim on Thursday. The Player of the Match award was presented to Aniela Barreto of Churchill Brothers.
Churchill Brothers beat Compassion FC 3-0 in the Vedanta GFA Women's League Football Tournament. Anelia Barreto of Churchill Brothers FC gave her best to her team, while Fatima Brigands of Compassion FC was at her best for her team. The coach of Churchill Brothers FC, Gurija Devi Narayan Desai, fielded Anelia Barreto in the upfront and gave her a task on the midfield too. For Compassion FC, coach Gracie DeCosta fielded Fatima Briganza up front. Churchill Brothers FC dominated the entire match and shot into the lead in the second minute through Vinishka Fernandez. Churchill Brothers FC missed an excellent opportunity of increasing the lead in the 11th minute as Rosella Almeida hit the crossbar. Churchill Brothers FC increased their lead in the 38th minute through Nevila Colasso from a free kick. Later, Anelia Barreto missed a scoring chance after her solo effort. It was Anelia Barreto who netted the third goal for Churchill Brothers in the 55th minute. Inasa Narona for Herald TV.
The expectations of stakeholders for the December tourist season are high. There is also expectation to touching the pre-COVID levels with the starting of the wedding season and the peak tourism season. What support do stakeholders require from the government? What is the kind of infrastructure you need for Goa to develop as a good tourism destination? Listen to this special story.
Tourism stakeholders are having high expectations of the iffy Christmas New Year tourist season. Good infrastructure, clearance of garbage, and good traffic movement are what stakeholders want. Some stakeholders also want diversification of the kind of tourists who come to Goa.
December tourist season should be good this year. The charter flight just started. Wedding season also just started. So overall things looks upward towards Goa. But it will be maybe difficult to maintain the growth like last year, which we had as far as domestic tourists is concerned. But positive side is we have now foreign tourists coming into Goa already started in big way, and which will increase by December. So with that coming in, I think overall season looks good for December, and I think if we are able to reach pre-COVID level as far as foreign tourists are concerned, I think overall season will be good for Goa. From government, what we require basically is to have this basic infrastructure in place. Like we always talk about clean beaches, we are talking about garbage-free state, we are talking about sewage, better treatment which does not harm our rivers, because when they go to the beach they should not find smell. All these things are basic things which are required, and above all the infrastructure which government has started, I think they should prioritize in completing them the same. Specifically, we are talking about Zuwari Bridge, which should need to start immediately. Then there are convention center which is coming in Panjim, and of course Mumbai Airport.
Since August the
season has been pretty good, and there are a lot of events that have been lined up. Starting from today, there's an event happening in town, and the following week is IFI, and then there are so many other events happening. We hope season will be good. It looks to be good as of now.
Okay. What support do you require from the government?
Government has put a lot of things in place, but the main problem today is garbage, parking, and maybe improvement in the public transport system, because the traffic has increased so much. We cannot really rely only on the taxis, which are also not as, the prices are not as comparable to the rest of the country. So maybe with a good public transport system from Panjim, within Panjim, from Panjim to the beaches or to the airport would have.
गोयन अशें आसा की वी नीड अ मिक्स्ड बॅग ऑफ टुरिस्ट. फक्त इंडियन, फक्त UK, फक्त रशियनाचेर रिलाय केला तो जावची ना. तर हांव म्हाजें म्हणणें आसा अशें की वी हॅव टू ऑलवेज लूक फॉर अ मिक्स बास्केट ऑफ टुरिस्ट. वॉट इज हॅपन आतां की इज देयर इज अ विजा प्रॉब्लम बिटवीन UK and India. Big problem between UK and India. E-visa facility has been withdrawn for UK citizens, and it is creating a big problem for senior citizens from UK to come to Goa. UK चे senior citizens, they form the backbone of our Goan foreign tourist arrival in Goa. And without them, you can see clearly दिसता की मातशें कमी हा season. शाकार गेला, हांगा गेला, थिंगा गेला, दिसता की less British tourists are there. So we have a request. We have put through our association, we have put many requests to our honorable CM to speak with the central departments to reinstate this e-visa, so that British tourists and other tourists from Europe and other parts of the world can also come along with our domestic tourists, so we can have a mix group of tourists in Goa during the season.
Prasad Polchi and Devendra Kankar for Herald TV.
Most of the bus stands in Goa through which thousands of people travel daily are in bad condition. Now, Transport Minister Mohan Godino has declared that the Union Minister Nitin Gadkar has promised funds for 16 world-class bus stands all over Goa. The road to the over 1 decade delayed Vasco bus stand will also be done at the cost of Rs 1.5 crore, Mohan declared. The centre has also agreed to give 200 electric buses, Mohan said.
Will Goa get world-class bus stands in the near future? Most of the bus stands in Goa through which thousands of people travel daily are in a bad condition. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has promised funds for 16 world-class bus stands all over Goa.
First time tarring रोडाचे जाता. आमी सुरवातेकूच सांगिल्लें इलेक्शना पयलीं आमी दोगांय मेळून काम करतले, पण आतां मेळून काम करता. सुरवात बऱ्यांतलो बरो जाल्लो आसा हो रोडाचो. 1.5 crore जातले, आनी म्हाका दिसता व्हडल्या प्रमाणान थिंग भितर कदंबा बस भितर येता थिंगा सारके थिंगाय काबार जाल्ले आसा. ती एस्टिमेट ऑन एमर्जन्सी बेसीस हांवें करपा लायला. तेजे शिवाय पयलीं हांवें हेज्या पयलीं सांगिल्लें आसा हांगा बस स्टँड पयशे ना म्हूण जे आमी बस स्टँड बांदपाचें आसा तें बंद उरता. आतां हाल्ली बाब नितीन गडकरी आयले, युनियन सर्फेस ट्रान्सपोर्ट मिनिस्टर. तेजे कडेन हांवें मागलां तेन्ना तेणें म्हाका सांगलें तुका जाय जाल्यार आपूण 16 बस स्टँड बांदून दिता, आनी आय वील मेक इट वर्ल्ड क्लास. ते वर्ल्ड क्लास करपा खातीर 4 or 5 आमची मेन आसा. तितून एक वास्को आसा, एक पणजे आसा, म्हापसा आसा आनी मारगांव आसा. ही 4 आसा, आनी मे बी पोंडा. बट 4 वील डेफिनेटली हॅपन एज अ फर्स्ट फेज. आनी म्हाका सगळे कडेन केल्ले जाय, कित्याक आमचे थिंगा फूल पयसो सेंटराचो येतलो. आमी एक पयसो ना घालता, पूण हे प्रपोजल आतां तेजी मांडावळ आमी केल्ली आसा. हांगा एकूच डिफिकल्टी येता, हें बस स्टँड करता तेन्ना आमी कोणाक वर्क एवॉर्ड केल्लो, आनी मागीर तो कसो उरलो, कितें जालें ती हिस्ट्री हांव सांगपाक सोदना. त्या कारणाक लागून मातशें आमकां एक आडकोय कशी येता.
Kiran Borkar for Herald TV.
Chief Minister Pramod Sawant on Thursday said that the Mopa Greenfield Airport in North Goa will be tentatively commissioned on December 11th. Sawant added that the announcement would be made only after confirmation is received from Prime Minister's office.
Chief Minister Pramod Sawant said that the Mopa Greenfield Airport in North Goa will be tentatively commissioned on December 11th. Sawant added that the announcement would be made only after confirmation is received from the Prime Minister's office.
अजून तारीख निश्चित PM ऑफिसांतल्यान येवंक ना बट पुराय तयारी म्हणजे GMR कंपनी गव्हर्मेंट ऑफ गोवा अँड सिव्हिल एव्हिएशन मिनिस्ट्री गव्हर्मेंट ऑफ इंडिया हांच्या कडल्यान पुराय तयारी सुरवात जाल्ली आसा तारीख PM ऑफिसांतल्यान अजून निश्चित जावपाची आसा टेंटेटिव्ह तारीख 11 अशें म्हटलां बट PM ऑफिसा कडल्यान जो पर्यंत निश्चित जायना तो पर्यंत आमी फायनल जाली डेट हे म्हणूंक शकना तारखेची वाट पळयता तारीख कळ्ळ्या उपरांत सगळ्या जाणांक ऑफिशियली कळली वयता
PMची उपस्थिती असतील
OPMची उपस्थिती
Prakash Kadekar for Herald TV.
That's all we have in today's news bulletin. Thanks for watching Herald TV News. For more news alerts, please follow us on O Heraldo on Facebook and Twitter. Take care. Goodbye.